Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. And yes, in front of me I have a regular ordinary He-Man figure from the 80s. And it's just crazy how this figure has invaded my imagination for so many years. I remember the first time I saw him way back in the 80s in a Kmart store. Somebody opened the package and I'd never seen this figure before, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, trying to show my friend Mike how cool this guy is, and I didn't get him that day. I kind of wish I would have, but I did not. And it would be actually a couple years later before I actually got my first He-Man type action figure, and even years later before I actually get this particular He-Man action figure. So it's just kind of interesting how time goes. Now, one thing that never got tired or old was when you opened up a brand new figure, and for the first time opening that package and seeing the back and a comic and everything else, and they caught it well with the commemorative figures. It was like, yes. When they made these in 2000 and 2001, these commemorative figures are really cool, but they did not get the head right. That He-Man head is not the right head. Close, but not quite right. And everybody noticed right off the bat that something was wrong with that He-Man head. This is the original, this is the commemorative, and it's just not quite right. Well, fast forward a number of years, and they gave us something really cool. They gave us these giant He-Man figures in a box. Ugh. Wait till you see. Wait till you see. If you haven't seen these yet, I'm sure you guys have. But always a pain to get this out of here. Come on. We got this top of the box in here is to protect it. You just can't get it out very easily. Oh, there we go. And once you get that out, you then have bump, this giant 12-inch He-Man giant figure. Now, when these first came out, they were kind of spendy, and Mattel wanted a lot for them. But they are, like, ultimately cool. Eventually, they went on lots of sales and clearances, and I picked up a bunch at that point. But I kind of, one thing that bothered me with this figure and everybody else was the head. They did it again. They did not get the head right. The head is so far off, and the hair just looks really weird and disjointed that it just really stunk for the figure. When I first saw it, I thought it might have been they used the commemorative head. But when I compare the commemorative head, it's not the commemorative head. It's a different head and still wrong. It's definitely not our 80s head. So the reason why I didn't want to open this particular He-Man is because I was hoping that they would release this He-Man right here. You can see this one right here is actually a giant He-Man. And let me scoot this over so you can see it better. Right there. And you can see this is actually a giant He-Man, and they actually got the head right. This head actually looks like the one from the 80s, how it should have always looked. And I'm not sure what they did with the other one. The head was just so wrong. But this one you can really see they finally got it right. Now, not only are they going to release the He-Man again, which would be cool, they had a plan to release a bunch of these giant 12-inch He-Man. They were going to have Prince Adam, and they were going to have Wonder Bread He-Man, and they were going to have Slime Pit He-Man, and they were going to have Faker, and they were going to have, I can't think of his name now, but basically the guy from the other place where He-Man's evil, and there he is, the alternate universe He-Man. So they were going to release 6 giant He-Man figures, which all had the same correct head, and I was interested in getting 3 of them. I really wanted, let's take a look here. I really wanted these 3 right here. The Prince Adam, the Wonder Bread He-Man and the regular He-Man. And this is why I didn't open this guy again. Because I opened one at one time, his head broke off, I couldn't get to go back on correctly, trying all kinds of stuff, and so I ended up giving him some special armor and sold him as a crazy robot faker that his head would pop off to somebody on eBay for a pretty inexpensive price. But still, to have Prince Adam, He-Man, and Faker, and not Faker, but and Wonder Bread He-Man, how cool would that be? Now, knowing me, I probably would have ended up getting all of them eventually, because they are pretty cool. I mean, and you can see the regular size figure, and this was back in 2018 when they actually talked about doing this, and all they wanted you to do was they wanted you to use hashtags tell Mattel and we want more. And I posted this everywhere trying to get everyone to put these hashtags in of tell Mattel we want more to get these 6 figures made. It didn't happen. It just didn't happen. And it really bummed me out because I really thought these would be cool, especially them fixing the head so it actually looks like it's supposed to look. Look at that. Look at it. Yeah, so frustrating. Even the slime pit zombie He-Man. And it's funny because this slime pit zombie He-Man is just a green He-Man with little swashes all over him. They look like he's dripping. I think it's kind of clever and kind of funny. Anyway. Yes. Another letdown. That would have been so cool. It's funny, Prince Adam's head actually looks better than He-Man's. Actually, so does Wonder Bread He-Man. But still, it looks like our original figure from when we were a kid. Maybe you smashed in a little more than it should be, but really close. All right. Well, let's open it up and let's check it out with next to the other figures. So how cool was that? They actually got the head right, and I was like, oh, finally. And so I purposely didn't open these. I left these alone. Well, more and more time went by, and I realized that if I don't hurry and buy one of these, because I sold my other one, that I would be left out without any He-Man figure at all, and just all the other characters. So I did a huge search, started trying to find the He-Man figure, and of course, by now, eBay prices were way outrageous for this guy, and I happened to find one store, one place, like 80 miles from my house, that had one. It was a video game store, and they happened to have one, just got in a late batch. And I went, asked them to hold it for me. I went down there, and man, I tell you, it was the craziest experience. As I'm picking up this He-Man figure, people are lined up to get their video games, and they see this He-Man figure, like, oh, it's He-Man! And they're all freaking out, and I could tell that if I would have not have got that He-Man figure at that moment, somebody else was going to purchase them right off the bat, right from that guy, because he was pretty cool looking. Pretty cool looking. All right, let me pause this video for a second. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. And anyway, so let's go ahead and open this guy. Before we do, let's look at the back of the box. Now, the back of the box, we have Beastman, Merman, Ram-Man, Man-at-Arms, Stratos, Zodak, and Battlecat. And normally in this spot, we would have He-Man and we would have Skeletor somewhere on there instead of Ram-Man. So kind of strange. I guess they lost the original He-Man art, so that's why we don't have it. So it's really strange that they actually lost the original one. So anyway, there we go. Let me check some of these other card arts. Oh wait, this one has He-Man and Skeletor on it. Whoa. Yeah, you can see right here how different Skeletor looks. They really messed up his face there. It's like his teeth are really far indented. And He-Man too. So yeah, those ones were not the original card art. Those were redrawn. Weird. All right. Interesting. Okay, let me stick all those back. And let's turn this back around. Now, they did not give us Battle Cat during this time, nor did they give us any female figures, so no Tila or Evelyn. We did not get Manny Faces or Ram Man or Triclops or Trap Jaw or anything else. I'll show you all the figures we got in a couple minutes. Now, Super 7 did release some special weird ones that were oddly colored. I did not get any of those. All right, so I'm trying to figure out how I want to open this. I think one of these is a good card and one has a bad card. I think this is the one that had the bad card. So I'm going to cut this close to the edge. On the next one, I'll cut it way out so I can put it together and make a resealable type situation. So let's go ahead and do that. Maybe we'll get my X-Acto knife. We'll be right back. All right, I got my trusty X-Acto knife. Let's go ahead and slice this thing open. Dun 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 dun. All right, let me stick this X-Acto knife away. Look at this cool little kit that I got of all different size blades. And a locking feature so the grandkids can't get into it. There we go. All right, there we go. Here's the card art. Here is the figure. Not the tape, Mattel. Ugh. There we go. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. He-Man, there he is. Whew! That should not have been that difficult to do. There they are. He-Man and He-Mini. So he does come with some accessories. A plethora of accessories, which He-Man's known for to have a lot of accessories. It makes him really cool as a toy when you're a kid because he has his sword, he has his shield, he has his mighty axe, little bent. I'll have to heat up some hot water and fix that. And now I got this cool top to use on something. All right, so let's talk about articulation, and we'll have fun with this figure and some other figures and check them all out. So you would think he has a boot cut because it's a different spot, a spot there, like different kinds of plastic, but he does not. He has his regular leg movement up here, and he has a spot for it to lock in to help him get the right stance. So he's on your shelf, he won't fall to his doom. So there it is on this side here. Same thing, it locks in there. So you can have him stand the right way. and not fall. Or you can take and twist them and have them sit and all kinds of other craziness. But there's no locking feature anywhere else, just in the one spot. I guess it's in the front too. There you go, it's the front and the back. Alright, so his legs move, his waist moves, and he has his signature punch. His arms move, of course, and his head moves. So there is He-Man, moves the same way he did back in the 80s. Much slower though, because he's big. Oh, it's a bummer. Mine has a little paint scratch right there on the belt. Right there. Bummer, bummer. All right. So there you go. So what's funny is after these came out, eBay had a plethora of accessories for sale, and I bought a whole bunch of battle axes and other things and shields, and so I was able to do things like this. This is my Titus, one of them, and I gave him He-Man's shield, but I painted it. Now when I got this, it was unpainted completely, so I used blue and gold, and then it matches his hammer I made him. And then I also gave him a sword. I think. No, I gave him a battle axe. Now I can't find it. There it is. And so his battle axe, same thing. I painted it blue and silver and used heat shrink tubing to stack it up to fit into his hands with the right thickness. And this way I could give him a battle axe and a shield for the giant Titus. And I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. He's going to fall over. I can't get him. There we go. So he had kind of a matching set. You can see it's the exact same size battle axe as He-Man came with. So that was pretty cool. Oh, I almost forgot. I also got this He-Man Power Sword letter opener. And here's what the sword looks like. Now I have used heat shrink tubing on it, and I did some painting on it too. But what's cool about this is with the heat shrink tubing, it's made to fit into his hand. I did that on purpose so I could take and put this in his hand. But it's also the same size sword as the one we got with the giant He-Man. So if I didn't put the heat shrink tubing on there, it would probably fit in his hand. Let me go get the other one. The unaltered one. I think it's still in here. I think I have two. Let's see. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's just an empty box. That would stink. Oh, I got one. It's so heavy. See, now you can have a full sword for your 12-inch He-Man instead of a half sword with that letter opener. That is cool. Ugh. It's so heavy though, it's weird. Alright, so as you know, I complained a lot about this head. When we got our Mondo figures, here's the Mondo. They're also 12-inch figures. But they are, even though they're 12-inch, they are a different scale altogether. And what I mean is, look at the head difference in the sizing from one head to the other. Well, the Mondo He-Man, not this one, but a different one, he came with a He-Man head. It looked like the original toy right here. And so I bought an extra head thinking I'll just take this head and I'll just stick it on this He-Man. Perfect. Problem solved. I'll be happy. Granted, it's not perfect, but it's way closer than this is. Well, here's the problem. Look at the size difference in their heads. Once I and they're both made for 12-inch figures. So you can see that this head is like way huge compared to the Mondo head. And so, of course, that little bean head would not work on this 12-inch figure. Oop. So that was a bummer. All right. So I told you guys I'd show you the rest of the figures, so let's go ahead and move these guys out of the way. That sword's just pulling them backwards. There we go. Pulling them off balance. Stand, man. Stand. All right, let me stick that metal sword back away in its letter opener case. So I would suggest if you can find one of these still, and I'll put a link in the description if I can find some. It's funny, I was going to take a Titus to work and just leave them on my desk and put my letter opener in there. And someone says, hey, you can't have weapons and swords here at work. I'd say it's a letter opener, so I can open my mail when I get it. Okay. Let's get all the stuff separated. There we go. There's He-Man's stuff. His battle axe. His shield. His sword. There we go. That's the way I would have set my other He-Man up. Same exact way. Doo-doo-doo. All right. So another giant figure I have is Zodak. Zodak. Look at the size of his gun. It's just so cool. So cool, these giant weapons. I love them. You have it so small in your hand for so long. It's just so cool. All right, Zodak with a C. And then we got Man at Arms. Man at Arms! And again, something went wrong with his face. I don't know what happened. Dun dun dun. And then we got the bad guys. We got Beastman, and for the first time, Beastman can stand without a problem. I remember always getting Beastmans that couldn't stand right. Now, I made the mistake of putting this on his hand like I used to do when I was a kid, and I ruined the pinky on one and ruined the thing. So I went and bought another Beastman, sold the one I ruined. So do not put the whip in the left hand, which makes the most sense. Don't do it. Don't. And then I have this other character, which comes with no accessories. And yes, he could be a good guy or a bad guy, your choice, depending on what genre you fall into. I guess technically he's supposed to be a good guy, and technically Zodak's a bad guy in the original storyline. And last, I have Skitty-Tor. Skitty-Tor, and he comes with his sword and his giant staff. His staff of power. I'll just put his sword in his back, just like you would when you were a kid. So cool. Yes, it would have been so much better if we would have had a few more figures, especially having T-Love would have been really cool. Having Ram Man would have been cool. Triclops would have rocked. Huh. I thought I had another Skeletor sword, but I don't. I do have another He-Man sword, though. So check this out. These two swords can combine and become the mighty dual power sword. Bum, 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 bum. That is so cool. So much fun to combine them. That's weird. This one is a little bit different color, I think. Oh, no. I don't know. It feels different. Weird. Now, one time I had my oldest granddaughter over a number of years ago when she was little, and she was playing these figures, and I let her play with my giant He-Man figures because it was fun. At that time, I did have a He-Man. I think as before his head was broken. And when I came out there to see what she was doing, the bad guys were stomping He-Man to the ground. Like, what the heck? What the heck? Now, I did buy a bunch of extra accessories, as I told you before. And because I had another He-Man at one time, I did have, of course, his 3 signature weapons. And I put his armor on that guy there. And then I bought another battle axe. And another battle axe. And a couple more battle axes. And a couple of these battle axes I transformed to work with my Hulk and some other figures too. I don't have any down here. I bought another one of these. And I bought some cool different armors. So I have this green armor if I want to make a green Skeletor looking guy. I have the blue backpack so I can have Stratos with a blue backpack instead of the red one. And of course, for those that know me, I love to give him He-Man's battle axe because that's how he looks on the box art from the Battle Ram. He has a battle axe in his hand. Makes so much more sense. Oh, Beastman! And then of course you can also give him a battle axe too while you're at it. Battle axes for everybody! Hooray! It's just so cool looking. Anyway, I digress. Mattel, we love the 12-inch Giants. Please restart the line. Fix He-Man's head like you showed us. That's what we need. And we need some females, and we need Trapjaw, and we need Triclops, and we need Tila and Evelyn. Because as much as I love Mondo, these are actually cooler than Mondo, even though they're a whole lot less money. But Mondo's cool, don't get me wrong, but these just have that super extra nostalgic feeling. And they are cool. Alright, I think that is all that I have. And I think that's it, yeah. I've covered the whole gambit. And again, these guys have the same locking feature in the back of their legs and the front of their legs. There it is. It's so hard to get them out of there. And if you lock them in place, they will stay. It's funny, these parts slip and keep falling. So I had to put like foam. You can see I got blue foam in here on his arms to keep them up. And then on him, I had to build foam in his chest right here because it kept dipping into his chest. So he has foam built up right here to hold this armor out. I think that's the only guys I had to use the foam on. Everybody else was okay. It's funny, you'd think I had to use it on Man-at-Arms, but I don't remember sticking any on there. Nope. He has no foam. I've got no foam. Anyway, these guys are so cool. I love them. Love them, love them, love them. Alright, well, I guess that's the end of the video. Thanks for sticking with me. And like they say in the 1987 movie, whoa, that is really close. He's so big. Good journey. Bye now.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it.